Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. All persons have any business before the Honorable Beverly Codoni, Justice of the Norfolk Superior Court, and for the county of Norfolk. Draw near, give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This court is now open. You may be seated.
Your Honor, may I call my next witness?
Please.
Commonwealth calls Jennifer McCabe.
Oh!
All right, chat. To everyone who
All
said
right, here we
yesterday,
go.
we are hearing tomorrow that Jennifer McCabe is taking
take
the
us probably
stand.
to
There
the
you
movie.
go.
Closing in.
Accurate.
Just joking.
The jury's awake now.
So, that is a great big freaking crucifix.
Crucifix around your neck doesn't make you any holier.
How close is your friendship with John O'Keefe at that time?
He was a very good friend of mine that I knew I could call for anything.
Now, January 28th, 2022, there was a basketball game around 6 to 6:30 with her children, or one of her daughters were playing in the basketball game. So they were there 6 or 6:30. And then she got a text message from her sister, Nicole Albert. And she said, hey, come to the waterfall. We're going to celebrate Brian Jr.'s birthday. So she gets to the waterfall around 9 p.m. and she is joined there by Julie and his wife. Then eventually they were joined by none other than John O'Keefe and Karen Reed.
When they first arrived, did you see them?
Yes.
Where did you see them coming from?
I saw them walk in.
When they walked in, did you react in any way?
Yes, I was happy to see them
Why were you happy to see them?
because I loved John and I liked Karen.
Because I love
So
John.
you were happy to see John?
Love
Yes,
John. And I
very.
liked
You were happy
Karen.
to see the defendant?
Yes.
When you received the invitation to the group to go back to Brian Albert's house, did you decide whether you were going to go home or go back to your sister's house?
Yes, I decided I was going to go to my sister's house.
Was there any discussion in the group among the participants about going back to your sister and Brian Albert's house?
Everybody seemed to want to go back.
Did
I mean,
anybody
vibes.
object to going back?
No.
Had you been to your sister's house before?
Yes.
Many times?
Yes.
Do you know the address of where your sister lived?
Yes.
Everybody knows at this point.
So after that conversation,
The jury's like, oh, 34
did you
Fairview.
stay at the waterfall
Right.
for a little bit, or did you leave immediately?
Probably left after maybe 5-10 minutes.
So you used Bella's house as a point of designation to try to guide him to get to your sister's house?
Yes.
Tell us who
So-
Bella was to John.
Hold on. Not only did she bring up Bella while he's in the car with Karen to try and piss her off and make her jealous, but Carrie Roberts said that they brought up Bella's mom again in the morning. More gaslighting at its finest. With friends like her, you don't need enemies.
Y'all in the
close
chat
did
are
you
saying
get
these
to
are
the area
terrible
of the fire?
friends. These aren't Karen's friends. They didn't have her number. Neither of them did. These are John's friends. Everybody's like, these are terrible friends. They were friendly in person, but they are not Karen's friends.
Tell us who Bella was to John.
Bella is my daughter and John's niece friend. So Bella is friends with my daughter, John's niece.
Bella child.
And was there any relationship between Bella's mother and John that you knew of?
Did they go to sidebar over Bella? Damn it!
The state wants to lay the foundation for this mentioning of Bella's mom triggered an argument between John O'Keefe and Karen because of Karen's jealousy. But I feel like she would have known who Bella was, and that indicating by Bella's house, because I'm assuming the kids are still friends, and she's an active part of the kids' lives. But
Let's see if she gets in the Bella's mom, the fact that there was some sort of relationship between John O'Keefe and Bella's mom. See if that comes in.
She tries to talk about Bella, but there's a timely objection, or I should say Bella's mom, I think. Timely objection didn't come in. Good job by the defense and good decision by Judge Canoni.
What are some of the things that everybody did along that night before you left? What happened in there?
What happened inside the house?
Yeah.
Nothing. We
The man was beat to
basically
death.
just sat around the table, talked, laughed, listened to music, chit-chatted.
Celebratory?
Yes.
Was there ever any fighting,
No, none at all.
any arguing,
None at all.
any physical interaction?
No, none.
When you decided to leave that night, did you say around 1:45-ish?
Yes.
When you left around 1:45, was there any events that happened that night that would cause you unrest or excitement or your heartbeat to race?
Or grave concerns?
No.
That question about anything that would happen to cause your heart rate to go up, your heart rate to rise. Oh man, he really is going to lean into that heart data, isn't he?
Did you realize that John O'Keefe and the defendant weren't coming in the house?
Yes, when the car was gone.
Oh, so you saw the car gone.
Did you ever go outside through the...
So you saw the car was gone. You didn't hear a crash. You didn't see a crash. You didn't see a body on the lawn. All 11 of you that left after you saw her car gone didn't see the body on the lawn.
This is where the acting classes come up. This definitely, as a lawyer, makes me think certain things, when they say certain things, doesn't make me think it's prepped. The way she moves and the questions that are asked here absolutely makes me think she was prepped for this moment right here, for a time such as this.
Sure.
So both of the young women were in the backseat?
Yes.
Was there any conversation when you got into the car?
We got in the car and they were teasing me
Why were they teasing you?
because I had like bread and maybe peanut butter in my car.
Why did you have bread and peanut butter in your car?
I had my niece for the week, and I was dragging her like to all my kids' sporting events. So we'd go from like one game to another game to a practice. So sometimes instead of always giving her McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts, I'd try to throw her a peanut butter sandwich.
And they were making fun of you?
Yeah.
As the car backs out of the driveway.
I imagine at 1:45 at night, they're like, can we get a sandwich? Like, can we get a sandwich? Can we get a sandwich? I mean, it's snowing. Can we just get a sandwich?
As the car backs out of the driveway, tell us what you're doing.
I'm talking to the girls.
You just moved your head.
Yes.
Does that mean anything?
Yes.
Tell us.
You just moved your head. Does that mean anything? Yes. Thank you for asking. Why, thank you for asking, Mr. Breenan.
The thing is that people having a lot of details doesn't necessarily mean that they are overly rehearsed. The interesting thing on this one will be, just remember how many details she's remembering, all the little bits and pieces. Because if suddenly she gets to cross and she's like, I don't know shit about shit.
And now you know nothing about nothing.
Then it's like, now you're lying, right? If there's a marked difference in testimony between direct examination and cross-examination, it kind of suggests some bullshit.
Then when she goes home, she goes to bed. She used her phone, texted some friends, Googled the basketball game, Googled the basketball team that her daughter might go on, then put the phone down, went to sleep. She gets a call early in the morning. She was groggy. She could tell Kaylee was upset.
And then she's screaming that John didn't come home. She left him at the waterfall. She was hysterical. It was very hard to follow what she was saying.
Karen Reed screaming things. She mentions, which again was totally inappropriate, should have been objected to, should have been struck. I don't know. Maybe John and Karen got in a fight. Totally inappropriate. Speculation, not even saying it did happen, just should never come in. But that's just an example of a witness trying to force some stuff out there. And then she starts to explain how Karen Reed, shows her or talks about the cracked taillight for the first time.
She's wearing a crucifix around her neck. For those of you who can't see it, it's giant. You may not be looking at your screen or driving, and in that case, don't look right now. It's enormous. I can't tell you how many inches it is, but it's big. God's not going to save you now.
Well, they got to
Meadows'
Meadows.
demeanor on the trip from your house to John's house.
She was just screaming, yelling things. It was almost like everything she said 3 times. And she just went from one thing
Really?
to the next. She was quite hysterical.
Do you remember what she was yelling about?
She said,
About going to Fairview, asking, could she have hit him? Did I hit him?
How many times did she raise the question, did I hit him? Could have I hit him?
A good amount.
Did you ever speak to her about that?
No.
notice he said question.
At some point,
Because I do think it was a question.
Yes.
They went to Meadows and they started searching the house. And of course, this part had to come out. The fact that Jennifer McCabe took her shoes off, as well as Carrie Roberts. They both took their shoes off before they went into the house because everybody knows John's rule.
And before going into John's home, did you do anything?
Before entering into the house?
Yes.
He wants to know if
I
he took
took
his
off my
shoes off.
You took off your shoes?
Yes.
Why did you do that?
Because you always had to take your shoes off at John's. He didn't want you to track. He would have yelled at me for tracking snow in his house.
Did you see if Carrie took her shoes off or not?
I believe she did.
Did you see whether the defendant took her shoes off or not?
She just walked right in
How would you remember that?
because I thought it was strange.
You thought it was strange? She's
was the
freaking
pur-
out. She thinks her boyfriend's dead. She doesn't know where he is. He would never leave her kids home alone. And you thought it was strange that she didn't take her shoes off. Right. So she must be guilty because it shows consciousness of guilt because she knew, in your mind, Karen knew that she killed John and that he was never coming home. So it didn't matter if she took off her damn shoes or not. Wow. You bitches are really sticking to the script, aren't you?
So here's the argument they're going to make. The argument is going to be that because Karen Reed didn't take her shoes off, she knew he was dead.
I just don't understand what that proves. I don't understand what that proves. Right? Oh, she didn't take her shoes off, so she must hate John enough to end his life.
Nothing this morning is strange except for Karen not taking her shoes off at John's. That was strange. Not the broken taillight. Not that she didn't remember. She didn't take off her shoes while we've just been painting the picture of how hysterical and out of it she is.
Before you left John's house that morning, did the defendant show you anything?
Yes. When we were out in the driveway, I had thought it was when we went in, but I think it might have been when we came out. But regardless, at one point when we were in the driveway at Meadows, Karen showed myself and Kerry Roberts the cracked taillight.
Sure.
Did you
Sure,
or Miss
Jan.
Roberts get close to the taillight at that point?
Sure, Jen. Somebody needs
Yes,
to make
we
a new meme.
walked over and the taillight
Sure, Jen.
was missing pieces.
Yeah, of course it was.
What was Miss Roberts' demeanor at that point?
She was frustrated with Karen, had said that, had said that Karen basically was telling her to shut up. You were so drunk. You could have hit anything last night.
Also, that I believe 100%. I believe 100% that Carrie was like, all of you shut the fuck up. It is 5 fucking a.m. It is snowing. Y'all went drinking last night and you're waking me up. Shut the fuck up. 100%.
Then they got close to 34 Fairview, as we all know, and Karen Reed screams, there he is, let me out. And they had no idea what she was talking about. They didn't see anything. Jennifer McCabe said she did not see anything. Only Karen Reed saw something. She kicked the door, let me out of this car. And Carrie turned to her and she said that she's crazy. And they couldn't see anything. But Karen Reed made a beeline to this mound in the snow. And then eventually, as they got closer, that's when Jennifer McCabe realized that Carrie was removing snow from John O'Keefe's face.
I saw Kerry removing the snow from John's face. I was frozen. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that was him just lying there. Karen had straddled him and had lifted her shirt and his shirt and was laying on him, and Kerry was screaming at her to get off of him. I was literally just stunned. I mean, there he was. He just looked like just him, but just like frozen. At first, I just stood there for a minute because I couldn't believe it was him. I was like, all right, I'm going to call 911. But I think I knew in that moment that John, was dead.
You didn't run inside the house to get your brother-in-law, Brian, who's a first responder, for help, though, did you? You didn't run in the house, make sure nobody else was dead in the house, though, did you? Even though he works for the Fugitive Task Squad unit. They're all screaming bloody murder outside, and Brian doesn't wake up, and neither does Nicole.
Doesn't strike me as super sincere. She loved John. He's her good friend. She was already pretty sure he was dead at the time she called 911. But what does she say? There's a man unresponsive in the snow. We'll hear the 911 call. We haven't yet, but we will.
How long did you try to give compressions and give aid to John for?
Until the police came.
Mr. Brennan, why don't we end here?
Oh.
Same cautions, please do not
Okay.
discuss this case with anyone. Don't read anything. About this case,
Well, that's a
please
place to
disregard
break the
and let us know
testimony.
again. Please be very careful.
The court was just like, all right, Mr. Brennan, and we're done.
See you tomorrow morning.
Right in the middle of that testimony. Okay.
Goodbye.
Yeah, that's exactly how it felt. The Commonwealth called Jen McCabe to the stand, and when the court broke for the day, we were to the point of Jen McCabe's testimony where she was saying that she was doing chest compressions on John O'Keefe in the snow. So we are just getting to 34 Fairview and what's going on. We will see what happens tomorrow, because I have a feeling we have a bit more of direct examination to go before we get in cross, and the cross examination I expect will be incredibly lengthy.
All right. So tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, but we will definitely be here with bated breath all night. We shall wait for the cross of Jen McCabe.